November 13th, 2017, 3:25 in the afternoon, the Joint Security Area at Panmunjom, Korea. Two armies stand facing each other across a strip of painted concrete barely wide enough to park a car. On the north side, 4 soldiers in olive green, AK-47s slung across their chests. On the south side, 3 soldiers in camouflage, hands clasped behind their backs. Nobody moves, nobody speaks. The silence at the JSA is not empty. It is pressurized, like the air before a storm, thick with the hum of electrical fences and the faint creak of boot leather shifting on frozen ground. Somewhere behind the North Korean line, a Jeep engine turns over. The diesel growl rolls across the concrete. One of the guards turns his head. The Joint Security Area sits inside the most militarized border on Earth. The demilitarized zone stretches 250 kilometers across the Korean peninsula, 4 kilometers wide. 2 million landmines buried in the soil beneath it. 11,000 artillery pieces aimed south, loaded and ready. Guard posts every 50 meters along the wire. Infrared sensors, seismographic detectors. A kill zone engineered to stop anything that breathes. The only place where soldiers from both sides stand within arm's reach of each other is the JSA. A strip of concrete and blue UN buildings 800 meters long, bisected by a line of paint on the ground called the Military Demarcation Line. Step over it heading south and you are in South Korea. Step over it heading north and you are in the Democratic People's Republic. The distance between the two countries at this one point is measured in inches. And stationed at this exact spot, standing guard 6 days a week for the past 11 months, is a 24-year-old sergeant named Oh Chung-sung. He has never been more than 55 meters from freedom. He has never been further from it. What nobody at the JSA knows, not the guards beside him, not the political officers behind him, not the surveillance cameras recording every movement, is that Oh has already made his decision. And in exactly 4 minutes, this border will be crossed. Cut to before, months earlier. Oh Chung-sung's life inside the Korean People's Army. Every morning begins the same way. A loudspeaker mounted on the barracks wall crackles to life at 5 a.m. The voice that pours out is metallic, relentless, reciting the teachings of the Supreme Leader in a tone that never varies and never stops. It follows them to formation. It follows them to the mess hall. It follows them to their bunks at night. The loudspeaker is not background noise, it is architecture. It shapes the air the same way walls shape a room. Inescapable, constant, pressing against the inside of the skull until you stop hearing it as words and start feeling it as weight. Oh eats the same meal every day. Corn rice, pickled radish. Sometimes a thin broth with nothing floating in it. His stomach has hurt for months, a low grinding ache that tightens after every meal. He does not know what is wrong. Medical care for enlisted soldiers is minimal. What he knows is that the pain is getting worse, that his uniform fits looser than it did 6 months ago, and that the other soldiers look the same. Hollow cheeks, dull eyes, bodies running on less than they need. What is growing inside him? Parasitic roundworms, some up to 27 centimeters long, feeding on the same inadequate corn rice he eats. He will not discover until a surgeon on the other side of the border opens his body and finds them. For now, he is simply hungry and watched. The surveillance at the JSA operates on a principle so thorough it eliminates the need for trust entirely. Every soldier is observed by at least 2 others. Political officers attend every meal, every formation, every shift change. They note who sits with whom, who speaks, who is silent, who looks south for a second too long. Reports are filed daily. The system does not need to catch defectors. It needs to ensure that no one trusts anyone enough to become one. A man who wants to leave cannot tell his closest friend because his closest friend might be the one filing the report. The whisper network runs in one direction only. Upward. Toward the officers. Toward Pyongyang. In this environment, conspiracy is almost impossible. Almost. Oh's advantage is the system's one blind spot. He tells no one. His plan exists only in his mind. No notes, no sketches, no whispered conversations in the dark. No co-conspirators to betray him. No written evidence to be found during an inspection. The surveillance apparatus designed to prevent collective escape cannot detect a man who decides to go alone. He watches the JSA from his guard post day after day. Studies it. The vehicle routes. The shift rotation patterns. The drainage ditch that runs parallel to the military demarcation line. Shallow enough for a man to walk through, just deep enough to trap a vehicle moving at speed. He identifies the one path that avoids minefields entirely. The paved road through the JSA itself. Not across the wire, not through the fields, straight down the road in a military jeep. The math assembles itself in silence. Full speed to the ditch, then on foot. 50 meters of road, then 55 meters of open ground. If he is not across the line in under 90 seconds, he is dead. The thought that stops him every night is not his own death. It is his family. The Songbun system, North Korea's caste structure, punishes defection across 3 generations. His mother, his siblings, their children. Failure means execution for him and a labor camp for everyone who shares his blood. Success means the same thing for his family, minus the execution. There is no version of this decision that does not condemn the people he loves. He lies awake in the dark, listening to the loudspeaker drone through the barracks wall, and weighs a future he cannot see against a present he can no longer endure. The loudspeaker does not pause. It never pauses. The voice fills the silence where his thoughts should be. He chooses November 13th. Afternoon shift. Reduced guard presence during the shift rotation window. He will drive a military jeep assigned to his post. No weapons. A weapon would slow him down and give them a reason to shoot before he reaches the vehicle. No disguise, no provisions, no allies waiting on the other side. The last night before the attempt, he lies on his cot and listens. The loudspeaker hums its low, endless frequency through the wall. He will never hear it again, either because he is free or because he is dead. There is no third option. November 13th, 2017, 3:25 p.m. Oh walks to the jeep. His hands are steady. His pulse is not. He turns the ignition key. The engine catches, a diesel growl that every guard at the JSA recognizes. The sound is his starting gun. He has rehearsed this 1,000 times inside his head. The steering wheel under his palms, the gear shift clicking into place, the accelerator pressing flat against the floor. Now the road is real. The gravel under the tires is real. The guards behind him are real. He puts the jeep in gear and accelerates toward the military demarcation line. The speedometer climbs. The engine noise rises from a growl to a scream. Every meter forward is a meter he cannot take back. 3:28 p.m. The jeep races past the last North Korean checkpoint. A guard shouts, a single sharp bark that cuts through the engine noise and vanishes behind him. Oh does not stop. The road narrows as it approaches the MDL. The drainage ditch cuts across his path. He sees it too late. The front wheels hit the ditch at speed. The jeep lurches forward, nose down, and stops dead. The engine screams against nothing. The wheels spin in loose dirt, throwing gravel and mud. 50 meters from the line. He is not across. He is stuck. The engine noise dies as the wheels lose traction. For 1 second, there is silence. Absolute silence, the kind that presses against the eardrums. Then he hears the shouts. Oh throws open the door and runs. 55 meters. The distance from home plate to the pitcher's mound in a baseball diamond. A distance a healthy man covers in 7 seconds. Oh is not healthy. His body has been consuming itself for months, malnourished. His intestines colonized by parasites he does not know about. His legs weakened by a diet that has never once provided what they need. He is wearing military boots on uneven ground. Behind him, 4 DPRK soldiers raise their AK-47s. The first shots split the air. Sharp, flat, percussive cracks that echo off the concrete walls of the UN buildings and bounce back as a rolling thunder. Oh does not look back. He runs. The first bullet hits his shoulder. The impact is a sound before it is a sensation, a flat, heavy thud against his body, like being struck by something invisible moving faster than he can process. He stumbles. His legs catch him. He keeps running. The second bullet hits his back. He lurches forward, but his legs refuse to stop. Over 40 rounds are fired in under 30 seconds. The air around him snaps and whines with supersonic metal. The third bullet. The fourth. The fifth. Each impact registers as percussion, not pain. Not yet. His uniform darkens with blood he cannot feel. 30 meters from the line. 20 meters. 10 meters. His legs are failing. His vision narrows. The painted line on the concrete is there, right there. He crosses it. His knees buckle. He collapses behind a low concrete wall on the south side of the military demarcation line. 5 bullets inside his body. He is in South Korea. On the south side, ROK soldiers see him fall. The gunfire from the north does not stop. Rounds hitting the wall, the ground, chipping concrete from the UN buildings. The South Korean soldiers cannot stand up. They drop flat and crawl. Two soldiers low crawl across 20 meters of open ground under active fire, the scrape of combat uniforms against concrete. Radio chatter explodes across every frequency, voices overlapping in Korean, English, UN command channels. They reach Oh's body. He is conscious but cannot move. Blood pools beneath him in a widening dark circle. They grab the fabric of his uniform and drag him backward, inch by inch, his boots leaving parallel tracks in the dust, pulling him behind solid cover. A UN Command Black Hawk helicopter is already inbound. The rotors cut through the air above the JSA, a deep rhythmic thudding that drowns out the last of the gunfire. From the moment Oh turned the ignition key to the moment the helicopter lifted off with his body, approximately 4 minutes. 4 minutes to cross the most fortified border on Earth. The DPRK soldiers stand at the line, weapons lowered. They cannot cross. The concrete curb that Oh collapsed beyond is barely 6 inches high. The most militarized border on the planet, 250 kilometers of mines, wire, artillery, and surveillance, was breached by one man with no weapons, no allies, and no plan beyond running in a straight line. The helicopter banks south toward Aju University Hospital in Suwon. Oh is losing blood. His pulse is fading. The sound of the rotors recedes across the South Korean sky. Behind it, the JSA returns to silence. Aju University Hospital. Dosiuyo-san, Lee Kuk-jong leads the surgical team. Oh arrives in critical condition. 5 bullet wounds, massive blood loss, organs failing. The first surgery lasts over 5 hours. The operating room fills with the steady beep of the heart monitor. The click and clatter of surgical instruments passed hand to hand, the quiet voice of Dr. Lee calling out findings as he works. They remove 3 bullets from his torso. They repair his shattered intestines. The damage is severe but survivable. And then they find something else. Parasitic roundworms. Dozens of them, coiled inside his intestinal walls. The longest one, 27 centimeters. Nearly 11 inches of living organism feeding inside a living man. A condition that was eradicated in South Korea in the 1970s. A condition that does not exist in any developed nation on Earth. The operating room goes quiet. The heart monitor keeps beeping. Dr. Lee holds the specimen under the surgical light and says nothing for a long moment. What he is looking at is not a medical anomaly. It is evidence. The parasites become the story. News outlets around the world report not on the gunfire, not on the sprint, not on the 4-minute crossing. They report on what surgeons found inside one defector's body. 27-centimeter roundworms. A condition erased from the developed world for half a century. Thriving inside a soldier from the most secretive state on Earth. One man's intestines reveal more about North Korea than any satellite photograph, any intelligence briefing, any diplomatic cable. The regime that controls every aspect of its citizens' lives, what they eat, what they say, what they believe, who they trust, cannot control what grows inside them. Oh Chung-sung recovers. He is granted South Korean citizenship. He watches South Korean television for the first time. He eats food that does not hurt his stomach. He sleeps in a room where no loudspeaker plays at 5 in the morning. The CCTV footage of the crossing, released by UN Command 9 days later, goes viral. 40 million views. The world watches a grainy surveillance video of a man running 55 meters while bullets kick up dust around his feet. The distance he crossed was 55 meters. The distance between his old life and his new one cannot be measured on any map. The most fortified border on Earth was crossed by one man with no weapons, no plan B, and no guarantee he would survive the next 7 seconds. The only thing he carried was the decision to run, and 27 centimeters of evidence the regime never meant for anyone to see. If you want to hear about the family who escaped East Berlin in a homemade hot air balloon, that story is next.